Okay, we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome to an interesting show tonight because, according to a lot of sources, according to a lot of outlets, different reporters, we're getting to decision time. Sometime before the end of the week, we are expected to have our final decision on Erik Ten Hag. We have some of the details on who is supporting the manager within the club, who is thinking maybe we could have a look at a change, and what the general consensus is. We have coaching staff leaving the club as well today. That is pretty much confirmed, and we have the very latest of all the transfer news. So let's get into it then, shall we? I guess we're going to start off with the Erik Ten Hag story. It's the unrolling story at the moment, and it's a big one, really. The coaching staff's interesting, the transfers are interesting, but what's really going to shape a lot of what happens in the next couple of weeks and months is going to be the future of the manager. Is it Erik Ten Hag going to be kept? Is it going to be a new manager? Well, I think when you look at some of the big targets starting to move, and we're getting to that kind of period now where clubs are starting to line up their managers for next season. They're offering new deals out, they're signing new deals, they're letting managers go, they're hiring new managers. It's all of a sudden got to the point now where we have to be making a call. I said earlier this week, guys, this is a key week for Manchester United moving forward in the immediate future, in the short to long-term future as well. So I guess all things considered, yeah, it's a big couple of days ahead of us for the club. But look, Ben Jacobs has been talking today. He was on United Stand earlier. I have seen some of the quotes that have come out, and some of them are kind of interesting in relation to Erik Ten Hag and the managerial position at Manchester United. Now, he's basically saying that within the board, two of the key men of the Ineos regime, Jean-Claude Blanc and Sir Dave Brailsford, Blanc is kind of edging towards keeping Erik Ten Hag, whereas Steve Brailsford is willing to play devil's advocate and willing to look at different solutions. Now, I've heard from other sources, I've looked at what everyone else has been saying, and I do tend to agree with it as well. We have to think about it. We have definitely got people within Manchester United not behind the manager, and there definitely is managers they're being spoken to. We're looking at other targets, we're talking to them, we're chatting to them. So these are potential changes that could be coming up. These are potential new managerial appointments who we could see in the next couple of weeks. I just think we got to get it done quick, guys. I think we need to be effective with this and be decisive. I think that's absolutely key here, in the long run. And it's interesting, I sense that there's an element of indecisiveness, that there's an element of not being sure exactly what we want to do with Erik Ten Hag from within the football club. I know that we have been talking to other managers. I know we've been looking at different managers. We've had conversations. We've spoken to agents. We've been in contact, and we've been contacted by different agencies as well. So we know these are going on. We know this is happening in the background at the club. But we also know now that some figures within the club, some prominent positions, are thinking that Erik Ten Hag is maybe worth keeping hold of, and that maybe we do stick with Ten Hag. In which case, again, I invite them to come out and actually back him publicly, back him with a contract, and keep him if that's what we want to do. If we want to get rid of him, then let's get rid of him and let's get somebody else in. That's what we got to do. I don't think sitting on the fence for much longer does us any favors whatsoever, and I don't want to be sitting here in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, asking the same questions. Is Erik Ten Hag going to be kept on? Yes or no? We need answers. We need answers quickly. We need answers effectively. And if it's going to be Ten Hag, it's going to be Ten Hag. If it's not going to be Ten Hag, then it's going to be somebody else. That's what we got to do. That's what we have to get to. That level of decision making. Chelsea have gone first. They've sacked Pochettino and they've managed to get their own manager in. We are still talking about what we're going to do. We haven't even got things sorted or another manager lined up. I would assume that we are still talking to them. But, we're seeing some of the top candidates drop out. You're looking at Kieran McKenna, heavily talked about this time last week, and all of a sudden he's signing a new deal at Ipswich Town. You look around and you start to see different approaches being made for different managers across the board. A lot of top teams swapping managers. Barcelona have got a new manager appointed, Chelsea have a new manager appointed, Bayern Munich having a new manager appointed. The managerial market is starting to shrink down. I still think that our top targets are not going to be there. I think De Zerbi will be one. I think Tuchel will probably be another one. But let's just find out what happens in that there. Now, look, having a quick look at what Ben Jacobs has been saying, some of it is really interesting, if it is true, of course. So he has said Jean-Claude Blanc is offering the favours in favour of keeping Eric Ten Hag. Dave Brailsford is playing devil's advocate role. This is to ensure every viewpoint is thoroughly examined before they come to a final decision. The United board are trying to take emotion out of whatever decision they make on Eric Ten Hag. They will not let the high of the FA Cup win, nor some of the lows of the big losses this season cloud their judgment. So I think that's good. We don't want an emotional decision. We don't want a reactionary decision. We want the right decision. We want the best decision. That's what we really want and need, and I guess we'll get to that there. But apparently we will see clarity before the end of the week, either today, tomorrow. It will not take much longer. The review is almost finished, according to Ben Jacobs, and that's what I think is interesting. I don't know how accurate his information is going to be in relation to the personal feelings of Dave Brailsford or Jean-Claude Blanc, or what Radcliffe feels, or what Omar Barada or Wilcox feel. But I do feel like maybe we're getting towards the end of this. We were told a week-long review. That's what we were told. We've got to Thursday now. We've got tomorrow. I wouldn't expect anything to come out tonight. We've got tomorrow, and then we have the weekend, so possibly Saturday. So that's basically within the next 48 hours, I would say, we should know what happens with Eric Ten Hag. Now, looking deeper into his quotes, he had said Kieran McKenna previously linked to United is set to sign a new deal at Ipswich that has been announced as well. That's been done. Thomas Tuchel would like the move to United. He feels he has unfinished business in the Premier League and would almost automatically accept any offer. Some of Barron theorised he knows there could be a job vacancy at United, and thus that's why he forced his way out and did not want to speak with them in relation to staying on next season. Ineos will be looking for feedback from some of the senior players as well. Obviously, we got to consult, and these senior players, our Bruno Fernandes, our club captain, for instance, will definitely be asked for his opinion. This is a man who has worked with Eric Ten Hag. He has been here before Eric Ten Hag. He's been the key man in the team, key man in the dressing room. So players will be, of course, consulted on it as well. They'll want first-hand experience. Ineos have only come in the last couple of months, so they will want a full picture of what's gone on this season, what's gone wrong, what the players think as well, because ultimately they've been working with Eric Ten Hag on a day-to-day basis for the last 2 years. So they will have a very good understanding of him and what he expects, what he demands, what he's like as a character, what his limitations are, and what are the strengths as well. So yeah, we definitely will have some of the more respected names in the dressing room. You're probably going to look at your Brunos, but you might also look at they could have sounded out Varane or a Casemiro, or some of the more experienced players in the team as well. Your Harry Maguires, your Johnny Evans, for instance, all probably would have been consulted. I doubt they're going out here asking Kobe Mino and Garnacho for their thoughts and opinions, but anything's possible, I guess. And finally on that there, Ben Jacobs said fan sentiment has to listen to you. You're crazy as an owner if you dissociate yourself from the fans, but Ineos will want to be dispassionate, which means looking at things analytically and not getting sucked in by highs and lows. I mean, you want to keep the fans on side, but I think fans will be a lot more on side with decisive decision making and making the right calls. We've been begging and crying for a very long time on this channel, across different channels, in our fan base, for footballing people to make the footballing decisions. Now that they're here, I'm not going to go crying about them if they're made with the best interest of the club in mind. That I'm not. And finally, there was one other little thing I did want to go for that. There may not be a public statement if Ten Hag does stay, but the media will be informed. Sir Jim is speaking on the matter is not ruled out either, but if he does do a general statement, it will be from the club as a whole. So that's basically how any decision will eventually get announced. I have loads of thoughts down below. I'm going to run through my comments as well. Thanks very much, everyone, for getting your thoughts in down below. Keep getting those comments in. Vote on the poll as well if you guys haven't already. Lucky Singh says, please back me. I will play possession football. I want to try win trophies next season. I think we'll win trophies next season. I think Europa League's very winnable. No Champions League teams dropping down. We got to be targeting that. The other top teams are Roma, Tottenham Hotspur, Real Sociedad, teams like that. We should absolutely be going for Europa League glory next season. I have Sadiq does not trust Jim Radcliffe. I have Arner as well. Radcliffe loves the word rigor, so I wouldn't be surprised if they scouted all the managers in the world. I don't think they'll scout everyone in the world, but I do think it'll be a very thorough search as well, and I would like to think they've come to some kind of agreement or understanding, because you don't want to be starting now. This is where you want to be making your decision based upon months of research into who's available, into Eric Ten Hag, into different coaches. You don't want to be starting your work now because you're playing catch up at this point. These are things that would have needed to have been decided a long time ago. Lucky says Ten Hag in. Lemon is down there. Is it time we accept that we have had the worst owners? I don't think so. I think the Glazer family are really bad, but I mean, I would say Everton's probably the worst run football club in the Premier League. They're in danger of liquidation. Like, they're £500 million in debt, and that's Everton we're talking about here. Bart on there. What good is a window? It depends on who you sign or sell. How much leeway are you willing to give the new setup? I think I'm not going to expect flawless results. I think so long as we have more hits than misses this year, if we sign 6 players and 4 are successful, one is all right and the other one's a bit of a bust, then that's still a very good ratio. You look at even those really good recruitment windows under Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. There was still some mistakes. There was still some busts out there. Obviously they got a lot more right than they got wrong, but players like Naby Keita, etc., really didn't live up to the hype of what they went for. Lucky Singh, you have to back Ten Hag or Thomas Tuchel. Man Utd said best window would be those players gone. He played under Oli Ranić and Ten Hag. It'll be an interesting window. I'm expecting a fair few sales. There is some word coming out on player sales as well that I will go through very, very soon as well. I'll just go through some more comments here. Bart says they do what's best for business, players and managers, employees, just like they don't interfere in our business. We shouldn't interfere in theirs. Lucky says the game is about winning trophies. Yeah, it's about winning trophies, but I'm not going to get myself into thinking that United are suddenly a better team than Arsenal, for instance, because we won a trophy and they didn't. We had a brilliant moment at the end of the season, but our season wasn't better on the whole than Arsenal's, and Arsenal are in a much better position to go out there next season and challenge for a league title, challenge for trophies as well. It's far more likely that Arsenal win something than what we do next season, just because their starting point's a lot better. I will get touching on about the transfer budget. There is a couple of things I do want to go through on that there, but I will go through it later in the show. I'll have a quick look at some of the player sales that we could be talking about as well. Dortmund, if they want to sign Sancho, going to cost around 50 million. I doubt they're going to pay that money for him. Both United and Chelsea are interested in Michael Olise. United are much more advanced at the moment, but Chelsea did try and do a deal last summer, so they know the conditions of the deal very well. There was some other talk as well on Olise. Definitely seems to be a player we're targeting. Given a straight choice between United and Chelsea, the player would prefer to join Manchester United, so that could be a deal that we do get done. And I'm a big fan of Olise, as I have been for a long time. I think really, really good in the final third, good decision making. This kind of player that we need to bring in, for that difference. And just have a different kind of player in the final third. Somebody who can help retain some possession in there, make a lot of chances. Really, really top player. I have some comments. I'm going to go through. Dark Crow, where the fans stand? Just clear the club or consider good odds and bets on them. Arsenal under Wenger were run like business until AFTV. AFTV didn't really. AFTV is one of those things. At the time, it was very bad for Arsenal. Like, Kanzira says, I think he deserves time. I'm assuming that's about Eric Ten Hag. We will find out. We will find out very soon. According to Ben Jacobs today, who's on United Stand, he did an interview and said we're getting to the end of the review process. He thinks we'll see something either today, which hasn't really come out. It's 7:15 in the UK. We're not going to be making any big announcements or anything like that at this time. Or he said there might be something tomorrow, certainly by the end of the week. So look out tomorrow. Keep a fair eye out. A fair eye. I sound really Irish there as well, like proper, like Southern. Keep an eye out tomorrow and keep an eye out on Saturday. Those are the 2 key days, I think, if it is going to be done before the end of the week. I wouldn't expect anything on a Thursday night of full time. Bar said Olise is injury prone. Don't blow your players. Budget on 2 players. See, I think Olise's injury-prone tendencies come from the fact that he's rushed back a lot by Crystal Palace. From what I've seen from Palace fans online, a lot of them suspect and know that he was close to fitness several times and rushed back because they've fundamentally needed him in their team to score goals at a time under Roy Hodgson. I think his injuries have improved towards the back end of last season, which I think is good. Anyway, Ben Jacobs as well. This is quite a big interview that he's done on United Stand. He says John Murdo was like United, he visited Saudi Arabia to discuss potential deals with the Saudi Pro League. Casemiro is a name that was mentioned, and he is nailed on to receive an offer from Saudi Arabia in this summer. United would want around 50 million for Casemiro, but Saudi clubs are looking at, contrary to popular beliefs, don't want to go crazy with the transfer fees. Are looking at £30 million plus add-ons. I mean, if we get 30 million for Casemiro, I am taking that, because that's £380,000 a week, pretty much knocked off your wage bill. You look at Varane going, you look at Martial going, you've saved over £1.5 million every single month. I think it works out as well between those players, and that's going to be a big benefit to the wage bill, and that allows us to reinvest and go after other players and bring in different players. Matata says, what I have to say about Bart responding to Luman. What did he say? Let's be realistic. Are we talking about what's best for business? I mean, yeah, but look, we can have our opinions. You know, there's different businesses out there. You might have a thought on Apple and think that the iPhone quality is not improving as much year on year, or that X now under Elon Musk is just full of bots and spam. Like, you know, you can still have your opinion, and we're always going to have our opinions based on our own team as well. You know, I trust them to run the club a lot better than what I can. I'm not going to be like some other fan channels out there who insist that they would know what's better for the club, as opposed to these people with years of experience in the industry and with all these links in industry. Bart says, employees doing the job. Don't see people cheering on the Department of Apple. Lucky said, is this like the Qatar situation? I don't think so. I think we will get an answer pretty soon. I'm not going lucky. Hopefully we're not going to be waiting for too much longer on the Ten Hag future, because it's bound to be filtering in and coming across to different parts of the club as well. You know, if you're a footballer, if you're a player and United starting to talk to, you're going to want to know who your manager is next season. You know, if we can't give people an answer at this point of the season, we're going to start looking like amateur hour as well. Interesting story, and it's a player I do like as well. United taking an interest in Wolves midfielder Yao Gomez. Again, first season at Wolves, I think. Why haven't we picked him up before that there? But clearly a very good player. Would be an interesting one to bring in and put alongside Manu as well. We can rubbish a story as well, though. João Felix is not coming to Manchester United. Barcelona are not going to be swapping. Atletico Madrid are not going to be swapping Greenwood for Felix. He wants to join Barca. And then, of course, we brought you that story as well on Kieran McKenna. Finally, this is a massive, big interview I've been going through for the last 20 minutes here. Jared Brantwood, his price tag is expected to be in excess of 70 million. I doubt Everton get close to that for him, and the reason I say that is because their financial difficulties mean that the longer the window goes on, the more their price tag is going to have to come down, because they're in a lot of trouble at this moment in time, Everton, and it's not looking good for them in that sense whatsoever. Now, going back to my comments really quickly, I'll just see Bart, serious question, how many people do I see bringing in before the start of pre-season? I think we're gonna be in a little bit of trouble with that, Bart, to be honest. And the reason I said that is you've got European Championships coming up and Copa America coming up. That's going to tie up a lot of top European players. That's going to tie up a lot of top South American players. And, ideally, you're signing players off a good season. Ideally, you're signing players young who will be in national team squads. So, yeah, I mean, that's bound to be going to filter in. Obviously, teams will get knocked out, etc. You can still talk to agents and clubs in the background. But, sometimes you're not going to get players out of their national team camp for medicals. Sometimes they're not going to be there for contract signings, and these things can rumble on and drag on for weeks and weeks. And United don't have a good track record at the minute for getting deals done quickly. You look at last summer, how long it took us to get Onana. Højlund seemed to have went on for a very, very long time in the last transfer window, among others as well. Matata says, if we run like a business by Radcliffe, then as fans we're wasting our time and energy with our club. Joe, it's one of those, if we were run as a good business, our financials would be a lot better. We would be getting good players in for cheaper, and we'd be a more competent club, because you would want to maximize your on-pitch performances to drive your profits off the pitch, which you will do then by keeping costs low, getting the best cheaper players you can get, and the best younger players are going to be there for the longer time. So we would be in a much better position if we were run as a business. We've also just been run as a very, very incompetent cash cow. That's a big difference between being run as an efficient business and actually being a genuine football club as well. Obviously, look, we want to be football first. I would rather take a loss on a season. I would rather the financials don't look as good. Um, that appeals a lot more to me. If you offer me the choice, yeah, Joe, you can have record breaking profits, record breaking revenues, and win a Premier League title. I'm gonna take the league title. Like, I'm a fan. Like, ultimately, I'm not gonna make money out of the club. That's where I stand on it anyway. Greg is down there. Ineos should be handling the situation on Ten Hag a lot better. Disgusted the way they've let the media trade him. It's making me thinking they're no different at all from the Glazers. I mean, look, the media is going to trade him whatever way they're going to trade him. We could be running a really good ship behind the scenes, and the media don't know. A lot of this is conjecture. A lot of this is made up, and a lot of it is just out there to get clicks, out there to get sealed, or get out there to get ad revenue on websites or whatever. I think we can only look towards what we've seen from Ineos so far. Now, look, the Dan Ashworth story is blown up pretty much because Newcastle have been very, very amateurish with how they've been dealing with this. But, you look at Barada, nobody had any idea he was coming in. Half the media believed that our director of football was going to be... that the CEO was going to be Blanc, and that the director of football was going to be Paul Mitchell, and neither of those things have happened and come true. Wilcox was brought in out of nowhere, so it could be that we've got a coach lined up. It could be we have a lot of deals in the works as well, and everything's very tightly under wrap as well. We don't know though. Maybe that's just me hoping the best. Let me see. Rajad, no point getting JB. Lebcon is down there as well. We have to keep Ten Hag to be the dominant Premier League manager. I can see the era of Klopp and Pep dominance coming to an end. Ineos do not want to make this mistake. That's definitely part of it. And make no mistake about it, if they really thought that Ten Hag was clueless that he needs to go, they would have sacked him by now. There's indecisiveness there because there's still a good coach in there. There's still a flawed coach, a flawed manager, but he definitely has his upsides as well. And it's obviously a difficult decision for them to make. If it was an easy call, it probably would have been done by now. I don't know, though. I don't know. Maybe that's just me wishing for the best, and maybe Ineos will be really bad for our football club. Maybe it'll be really good. We don't know yet. Let's just find out what happens. Let's go on this journey together, I guess. Rajat said, do you think if they didn't take a dividend, it could be okay? Well, there is no dividends for the Glazers for the next while anyway. I don't think that's going to be happening for the next part of it. Rajat said, don't run it like an inept football club. Most clubs balance commercial football success. Glazers, no, exactly. That's because it was used as a cash cow and as a debt transferring mechanism. If we were run as a better business, and if you run the club genuinely as a business, you would have had the best directors, the best CEOs, best scouts already in, because you would want to get the best players in for the least amount of money, which then would mean your profits on players, your sales would be better, you would have less bust transfers, you would be winning competitions to get extra prize money, and you'd be maximising the money coming in through that there. We've missed out in Champions League football many times in the last 10 years or so, because of how we've been run as a club. So it's interesting. If we were genuinely being run as like a top tier business, we would be driving innovation and trying to get up there amongst the very best clubs. We wouldn't be settling for 8th place. Bart said, realistically, how many players can we sell before pre-season? That's a better question. I think, you've got your players leaving on a free. So you've got Brandon Williams going, you got Martial going, you got Varane going. I don't know if Casemiro is going to be going to Copa America, so you could try to get that deal done. I don't think Greenwood will be called up to any national teams anytime soon. You can get that deal done. Sancho, if you can get him moved on before the pre-season as well, that'll be another good one. He won't be going to the England squad. Eriksen probably be in the Denmark team. I think he is a player set to leave, to be fair. You look, Wan-Bissaka's maybe another one. There's talk of Bayindir today as well. So yeah, there's a fair few players we could move on in the next couple of weeks as well. But again, it's not just about wanting them to move on or having them available. It's also about finding people who actually want to buy these players as well. And that's what it comes down to as well. When your recruitment's bad and you got players there who nobody wants to buy, why would they want to buy these players? Like who out there is going to go? I think we really should be going out there and buy Victor Lindelof. Or Anthony Martial, or we should be going out there breaking the bank to bring in Sancho, or Joke we really need. We need Facundo Pellistri. These are not players who there's going to be a lot of demand for. You look at other clubs. Chelsea want to sell players, but they got players they can sell. People will want to buy someone like Conor Gallagher, who played a lot last season and played pretty well. You look across the board. If City makes sales, there's talk of them even looking to sell Ederson or De Bruyne. These players will go. And we'll have a lot of interest as well. People don't want to buy our players because they've not been good for us. Anyways. Bart said, realistically, how many? I've seen that. I've just responded to that. Can we send players from transfer and battle Chelsea? Yeah, there'd be a couple of Chelsea players I would take, but I think you want to keep costs down as well. Because you want to bring the right amount of players, and I think that's important. That we hit as many target areas as possible. We need centre backs to make the team work. At the minute, I would say only Sandro Martinez is guaranteed to be here as a centre back next season. Other players are likely, but I think that's your only guarantee. I think you need a left back because the possibility of Malacia and Shaw coming back and staying injury free next season is non-existent. You don't want to run Dalot into the ground again. You got a lot of areas in midfield you want to get, forward line. You got a lot of players you want to sign. So you want to keep these costs down a little bit, but I guess this kind of takes us on to and it will bring us on actually to the transfer budget, because that was something I wanted to go through earlier in the show as well. Let me just quickly see if I can pull this up here, because there's a really, really good thread on it. Now, it was Ben Jacobs. He said United's going to have around 50 to 80 million pound to spend initially. I personally think we're going to have a lot more than that, because on the books we can spend up to, I believe, 250 million pounds and still be in the financial fair play remit, be in the remits of that there. I don't think we're going to spend 250 million guaranteed. I don't think that's a promise or anything, but I do think we will get close to that kind of figure, maybe 150 million pound after sales. But I would expect a very big transfer window in the upcoming year. Now, look, as we know, just because we might only have 50 or 80 million pounds in cash, that doesn't necessarily mean that's all we have to spend. As we know, transfers are amortized over several years, so it's like Klarna. You don't plow all your Klarna in one go as well. But there's a really good thread here. I will link it into the comments if anyone's interested in more of the financial side of it. But we're talking about Manchester United, and it is interesting for the most part. Let me quickly get it up. Anyway, with Europa League, that's going to help us out as well. United should be able to spend around that there much. 170 million pound. This one guy who I think is a lawyer as well. Sponsorship income is going to increase 5%. Top 5 finish will be money from the Premier League. Europa League as well is around 40 million in TV deals. Matchday income's likely to be up as well. Amortization will be down 25 million due to the transfer fee of several players being off the books. Wan-Bissaka, Varane, etc. will be off the books as well. So that should help our profit out as well going into next year. Revenue for customers and operating expenses are expected to drop. Ineos are putting in some pretty stringent cost-cutting stuff as well. I'll have to maybe go through that at a later date as well, because I don't want to read a massive big article out here for all you guys. But guys, drop a like on the stream as well if you can. Would be much appreciated. We've got 37 people in the house tonight. Much appreciated for all that. How confident are we of a good window? 33% say very confident of a good transfer window. 29% say, yeah, I'm kind of feeling it. We got 23% saying not really, and 15% say, yeah, it's going to be an absolute disaster. Fair play for letting me know what you guys think as well. Keep getting your thoughts into the comments. I want to run through some more of them, because some of them are actually very interesting as well. Let me see. Who have I got? Where did we get to? Let me see. Greg. I've seen Greg's comment. I've seen Bart's as well. I have Matata. Lots of fans want Maguire and McTominay gone for years now. Yeah, I understand it. I think McTominay is a decent sale to make. I don't think you got a burning necessity to sell him, but if a good offer comes in, it's all going to be financial fair play profit. It's all going to be money into the bank account, and that's what really matters in this upcoming season as well. Really important that we go out there and do that. Harry Maguire, again, I could see him go. I could see a future where he goes. Obviously, the wages are a big one. As well as that, sorry guys, just to go back to financials as well. Whenever we're talking about these kind of numbers that we could spend upwards of about 170 million pounds, that's going to be across a several year spend as well. So it'll be an agreement to go out there and spend 170 million pounds. It might be that we spend 80 million pounds in this upcoming window, you know, in terms of upfront payments, because everything's spread out now. Nothing's done just in a complete lump deal anymore. You know, they're really not. So Fresh is done. They're needed about the management plans before we can buy players. Exactly, that's key. That's key. And management plans will play into it. If we have to sack Ten Hag, that's going to cost about 5 million. If you want to get a manager out of their contract, you're looking at another 5 million. So you're looking at 10 million pounds of your potential spend wiped out. You know, that's a player sale. That could be selling Victor Lindelof in this upcoming window. That's what that could be. Anyways, lucky missing Greenwood. Sounds like they'll be done. Yeah, I'm sure they'll get them sold at some point. Rajat said, don't want any Chelsea rejects here. Mount needs to be given more time to prove himself. Yeah, I'm going to give him another season. He's barely kicked the ball for us, guys. I'm not too worried about Mason Mount. If he stays fit, there's a good player there. It all depends, though. Let me see. Bart says, are there more Ronaldo fans than United fans in the world? I doubt it, although there's a big overlap. I plan to make an agenda appearance tonight. Not tonight. I'll maybe talk to those guys about getting on next week. I haven't been on there in a little while as well. I have Bart saying, hasn't Ten Hag aged about 10 years in the last 6 months? All United managers do, honestly. There's photos of like Jose Mourinho just looking absolutely dishevelled during his time at United, like absolutely like he's been dragged through a bush as well. I'm not surprised though. Like he said, the Saudis will be ready to contact us. Yeah, the Saudis will be going for some of our players as well. They'll be going for Casemiro. That's an expected one. And look, if they're happy to offer 30 million pounds for Casemiro, I am taking that. Like I had almost accepted losing Casemiro on a free and just taking just getting those wages off the books. But if we get money in for that, that makes a lot of sense for us. You know, it really does. GK's down there. Silva Mex says, yeah, Silva Mex has signed for United, but he's only 14. We're not going to see him for a while, for sure. Bart says, if you can't sell Maguire, then Varane and Lindelof leave, as you would then need 3 centre backs in one window. We would. And I think we'll get close to that. I would expect us to sign one. I think there's a good sign of good chance of us going after Toshin Adarabioyo, going by talks as well, and that's a potential free transfer. And there's also talks about Tadebo. You know, centre back's really an area we're looking at. You know, it looks like the areas we're looking at is centre back. We seem to be targeting Elisa quite heavily as well. We seem to be looking at number 6s. Those seem to be the 3 key areas. I would say you look at a striker and a left back on top of that. That's what I think our signings is going to be in this upcoming window. And yeah, you want to get smart signings in. You want to get deals that make a lot of sense. And ideally, you want to stretch that budget. That's why I think it's likely we go for someone like a Yusuf Fofana from Monaco in this upcoming window, as opposed maybe to breaking the bank for a Yao Neves, because I think getting 4 good players in will do us more benefit than getting 2 really good players in, you know, in the long run. Anyways, in terms of some player sales, United will entertain offers for Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the summer. Al Nassr were interested in him last season. I could see him going, to be fair, as well. Bayern Munich could be going in for Harry Maguire. When Tuchel was in charge of Bayern, Harry Maguire was a target under consideration. It could be similar for Vincent Kompany, who wants more experienced players to be brought in. He could be an option if they feel they need another centre-back. That could be an interesting sale there as well. On the left-back front, another area we definitely need a player in. United's interest in Marc Cucurella last summer, it means he could be an option with the left back, as Chelsea will need to sell some players in this upcoming window. There was talks as well. Bournemouth left back Milos Kerkez is a name discussed internally at United. They've been very impressed with his development. Chelsea would also be interested. He would be someone who would be brought in as being a starter in a couple of years, an option to develop. Hungarian left back could be an interesting player. Newcastle are pushing hard for Adarabioyo, but United are definitely interested as well. Adarabioyo has not made any decision as of yet. Trevor Chalobah does not want to leave Chelsea, but Chelsea may have to move him on as well. And finally, there was Jared Brantwaite as well. This is from Rob Dawson. Brantwaite is a big target for United, but Everton's asking price of around 70 million could be a stumbling block. United want to add at least one, ideally two centre backs during the upcoming transfer window. So do expect centre back signings in this upcoming window. Here, guys, make sure to hit that sub button if you haven't already to support the channel. Really do appreciate it. Drop a like as well, and keep getting your thoughts in down below. I guess I'll go through some more of these. Rajad is talking about Kirkes. I like him. You know, I think we have some very good left backs as well coming through. Harry Amas, one to keep an eye out on, but we have moved on Alvaro Fernandez. That is a sale, so I would expect a full back to be brought in as well, because we don't want to be playing Dallo at left back next season. We want to have players that can be in there and play in there as well. And it's good to see that we're finally getting rolling in the window. I mean, Max says he's only 14, but have to start somewhere, I guess. Have to get the manager situation sorted out very soon as well, guys. That's a big one for me. Rajat, reckon Kane become an option? Probably not. I don't think we're going to spend massive money on a striker. I think Xerxes could be a possibility, and that's going off his price. I think he's got a 30 million buyout clause at Bologna. You know, that could be a player we maybe go for. But we'll find out. We'll find out in the coming weeks, I'm sure, on that there one. But we do need a striker, absolutely. You know, Martial going, can't just rely on Højlund as well. So yeah, we're definitely going to need some players brought in. Guys, big ups on 32 likes as well. That's absolutely incredible. Thanks so much for all the support over the last week. Been a really, really good week for the channel. Some of the best weeks we've had really from last summer. All things considered. I have some more comments I want to go through. Bart says, if Maguire goes to Bayern, I will start supporting United. GK Ten Hag recommendations have come in. Xerxes, Hato, Gertrude, Didi for a free, Toshin. Yeah, look, I'm sure these will be players the club are targeting as well. You know, they're good players. And even if we do decide to sign them, or if we don't decide to go with them, you know, that remains to be seen, I guess. But it's definitely going to be an interesting transfer window. I'm hoping you guys will choose to spend it with me as well. Going to be doing lots of content all summer long on this here one. Big ups to the people who have subscribed on tonight's show. Can we get a couple more subs in as well? Scott said 31 likes. Yeah, guys, thanks so much. We're up to 35 now as well. Likes flying in, subs flying in. Gotta love it. I'm going to have a look at tonight's poll as well. How confident are we of a good transfer window? That's what I asked you guys during tonight's show. 33% say, yeah, we're very confident. 27% say, yeah, I'm kind of confident, kind of feeling it. We have 31% saying, nah, I'm not really feeling it this summer. I don't know if it's going to be, if everything's going to work properly. And Joe, that's a perfectly valid fear. You know, this is for summer. This will be somewhat of a testing for the new regime and for the scouts and stuff. And yeah, we need to get it right. But I think this summer maybe we could have more leeway than what we will have in upcoming summers as well. Araya says we should test Chelsea for Caicedo, 50 million. I don't think they'll take that, buddy. GK said Hermoso is available. Pretty good player. Could be a decent experienced option as well. Lucky would like to see Fofana, Rabiot and Xerxes. I mean, look, that's some decent signings there. That's 3 players for 50 million. I don't know if we're going to be going for Rabiot, to be honest, but I think Fofana is definitely an option for Monaco. I think he's only going to cost about 21, 22 million as well. Very affordable for a pretty good player. Now, look, he's not as good as maybe a Neves or what an Onana might be, but at that price, you know, you got to look at price to performance level. That's a smart deal, and we do need definitely holding midfielder in this upcoming window. Ideally, we get 2 midfielders, because I don't want to see Kobbie Mainoo having to play every single week. I love him, but I don't want to see him play every week. You know, give him a break, let him rest. He's only 19 years old. We don't want him to be run into the ground as well. You know, you look at what's happened to Pedri and Gavi at Barcelona, for instance. Let's avoid that as well. Let's be smart with this one. So Fresh would like to swap Sancho for the left wing at Dortmund they have coming through. He's younger and English too. Yeah, I mean, there's options. There's talk about Adeyemi leaving Dortmund. You maybe could bring him in, and that's a versatile forward. Or, you know, you could look in the midfield area at Dortmund as well. Some good players across. Thuram of Nice. Yeah, Thuram's definitely one. He could be a really interesting option. Bart said Morata to United. What about if Dovbyk goes to Atletico? Yeah, I mean, there's talk of one of Griezmann and Morata leaving. I think Morata's available for about 12 million euros. That's a pretty good price for an experienced option who you would know what you're going to get. Not that I think Alvaro Morata should be first name on our transfer list by any means, but certainly it's an option. I'll call it that much. I think Xerxes probably my ideal one because I want to see a player who can come in and link the forward line up and be a different profile to Højlund. You could even play Xerxes and Højlund in the same team because they make very different movements, very different style of players as well. Guys, we've got 52 people in the stream right now. Make sure to hit a sub button. Make sure to hit the like button as well if you guys haven't already. Really enjoying tonight's show. Really been enjoying this week's shows as well. Sean Forsyth down there, don't want to see us sign Elisa. Too expensive. Areas of greater need. I mean, yeah, but we haven't had a midfield. Sorry, we haven't had a right winger genuinely in years. Obviously, look, we got Amad Diallo, who we would want to see develop, but I don't know. We'll find out. Araya says, Rabiot free, Amrabat. I don't think we'll go for Amrabat. I think Fofana is a better player for the same price, to be honest. Connor Richards down there, keep up the good work, mate. Thanks very much, man. As well, been checking out some of your guys' videos as well. Make sure to check out Bottom Bins podcast, guys. Have a little bit of a rebrand. See them all the time on Instagram as well. Now it looks good. What else have I missed out on, guys? Said Bruno is a good backup too. Ideally, you could rotate with Mount. There's other players who can come in. You could even play Ahmad centrally as well, and that's something I wouldn't mind seeing because I like Ahmad in those areas. Played in those positions in Sunderland could be an interesting option. Xerxes is very versatile, says GK. So fresh. Griezmann would be Angel Di Maria 2.0. Yeah, probably. I mean, there was talk of it last summer. It depends on wages and stuff as well. I don't know if I'll go for him, to be honest. I think it's likely we go and get a striker, an experienced striker, or we go younger and then get a Xerxes type player. But I don't know. There could be a guy from Stuttgart could be an option. You could look at other Bundesliga players. If you want a really rogue shout from a player I actually really, really like, I'd probably say Skamaka could be an interesting one. Definitely misprofiled at West Ham. You know, Moyes saw a 6'5" striker and thought he had a big target man in his hand. Got to give him the ball to fit. Could be a good option. Clint is down there. Greetings from South Africa. Thanks very much, Clint, for joining in. Much appreciated. Honestly, guys, it's kind of crazy. Like when I think about where you guys are watching from as well, because I'm sitting here in Northern Ireland. I've got people from South Africa. I know there's people from Uganda in the chat. There's people from India, from Pakistan, from Australia. We've got Bart as well for the European representation as well, and Lucky Singh as well. Vlahovic. I mean, Vlahovic is one I've been seeing linked to United for so long, ever since he was at Fiorentina as well. Bart said Bruno could end up like Sanchez, absolutely knackered and bereft of mobility and robustness. If Eriksen leaves, get someone in or let Hannibal stay. Yeah, I don't really want to run Bruno into the ground. Concerning that he's starting to pick up injuries as well. This is a man who's never had a career injury before this season, so want to manage him well. Sean said Romano reporting Joe Bellingham to Palace with their recent record of homegrown players. Could be one to keep an eye on. Dougie Friedman doing a job down there. Yeah, he's done a really good job, Dougie Friedman. And really what they're doing is just exploiting the championship market. And there's so much talent in the championship. Like, I really hope we're going to look at players like Hayden Hackney in this window because, you're looking at potential good cheap buys there for players with a lot of upside and a lot of improvement in them. But yeah, I mean, Joe Bellingham, he's pretty good. I don't think he's the best player they've got, to be honest. Sunderland, I know they have quite a few good ones in that team. Samuel Luckhurst been talking about no one expected a quiet week covering United this week. There have been suggestions a decision will be communicated on a quiet day this week. Someone said it will be next week. The United Director of Communications is on holiday, although it is half term. I don't really get it, to be honest. Luckhurst updates are just not the one. Hold on one second, guys. Let me just double check something here. There was something I did want to show you guys. Who have I got? Connor Richards think Tadebo could be a top priority with Varane's departure. Yeah, I mean, you got similar players there. To be fair, you do have similar players. Whether or not he's got the mentality to make that step up, whether or not he's got the physicality, I don't know. He's certainly better on ball than Varane, but we'll find out, I'm sure. I still think Adarabao could be a smarter signing, to be honest, but anything could happen. Araya says Inistapan would be a good left back. I like him. I don't think he's the best. Bart says try German Apfelstrudel or Marzipan. Mars Porta, if I can, have him with a cup of coffee. I will certainly keep an eye out on that there one, Bart. Thanks very much. Your tips are always really good. So Fresh said Johnny Evans should really be gone this window. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of under the impression he might end up retiring, but obviously nothing's happened on that. He's gonna be up. He's gonna be up there as well. For I think he's in the next international squad. Who was it we were talking about? Chris Rigg could be an interesting one from Sunderland. That was the one I was going to say there. Pretty good player, young player. 78 votes on the poll as well. 32% are very confident of a good window. We got 28% saying kind of confident, 31 not really, and 9% are feeling down. They're saying it's going to be an absolute disaster of a window. Greg said we need a decent window, mainly for Manu and Hoyland's sake. Yeah, Garnacho as well. Definitely for Garnacho. But I think Rashford being fit probably helps with his minutes more as well. Bart said as well, Dougie is a Palace and might end up with Newcastle. Yeah, he's very good. I mean, there was talk of him being on Ineos's hit list, but we haven't quite got there yet. Guys, make sure to hit that like button. Can we get up to 40 likes? Would be really, really good if it could. We just hit 40 likes. Thanks very much for that. And if one more person can hit the sub button as well, we will have hit the end of stream goal of 2,200 subs. That will be 2.2k. Absolutely phenomenal stuff as always from you guys. Lucky would like an experienced striker. I just think we need more options, more goals in the team. And ideally, we're going to play a style of football next season that's going to give us more chances as well for the likes of Hoyland. Or whoever is going to be playing up front for us in the upcoming window. I don't want to be saying our striker going entire matches receiving one pass from the wide players. I want to see more play. I want to see better runs as well. Those will both help. One interesting story I did want to bring you guys before we wrap up is on Benny McCarthy. Now, Benny McCarthy is set to leave Manchester United. Had been working as kind of like a one-to-one finishing coach, striking coach for the forward players. Attributed with a lot of success in last year with Marcus Rashford. Maybe not so much this year. Hasn't been talked about as much, but he is set to leave Manchester United. He hasn't been offered a new contract. There's talk about Van der Gaag getting the same treatment. Talk about Steve McLaren getting the same treatment. So you could be looking at a brand new coaching staff, even if it is Eric Ten Hag still the manager next year, which would be a really interesting one. Not very often you see a manager's coaching staff depart from around him once he stays on at the job. So one to keep an eye out on. Is that going to be a hint towards what United are going to do? I don't know. I'm not too sure because Ten Hag obviously has a year left on his contract. Look, I'll say the same thing that I've been saying all week, and I'm sure you guys are probably feeling the same way. Either back Eric Ten Hag, give him a new contract, and go the full way with this. Give him 2 years on his contract for another 3 years, or if we're not going to back Eric Ten Hag, go get another manager in and let's get it done quickly. I don't think any of us want to be playing these games. Any of us want to be sitting waiting here for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks waiting. Will we make a manager change? Will we not make a manager change? I want this done by the end of the week. I want to get moving on to transfers next week. We're coming into June. Transfer window about to open. European Championships, Copa America about to start. Let's get this ball rolling on a big summer. That's what we want. That's what we really want. That's what we need, guys. So Fresh, I want to see competitive options across the pitch. Yeah, absolutely. Anthony really needs to go as well. Yeah, I'll not argue with that there one. Greg says mixed opinion on Olise. I'd like us to sign him. I would love him as well. I think he's a really, really good player. And yeah, Joe, one thing I like about him is he will maintain possession in the final third. He'll try balls into the box. He'll look for the angles. He'll look for crosses. Very good from set pieces. I think we play very much all or nothing ball in the final third with Bruno, with Rashford, Garnacho, etc. If the pass comes off, it'll lead to a goal scoring opportunity. But if the pass is misplaced or if the run isn't right, the attack just breaks down. We don't maintain things. So I would like to see him. Sean said Ten Hag will not stay if they get rid of Van der Gaag. He'd sooner walk than work without him. Possibly, but there was talk of Van der Gaag being an option for Ajax at some point. Maybe they're looking, maybe Van der Gaag himself is looking at getting the hot seat as well, not being the number 2 anymore, but getting an actual managerial appointment. I'm not too sure. I guess I'll find out very, very shortly on that there one. We've got, guys, 40 likes in the stream, which is absolutely phenomenal. We have 84 votes in the poll. 31% say they're very confident of a good window. 30% say, yeah, I'm kind of confident. I'm not too sure, though. Not really. 30% and 10% think it's going to be a very bad transfer window. I'm hoping it's going to be a good one. For our sake, I think we need it. I think the squad desperately needs quality, success, players who are going to be fit and available, and hopefully we can avoid big injury crises in the next window as well. You know, that's got to be the goal there. Big ups for hitting 2,200 subs. That's 2.2k, guys. Thanks so much for all that there. Really appreciate it. All the support as well. Look, guys, I think we're going to leave the stream here. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it from everyone. If you guys haven't already, make sure to hit a like and comment and subscribe. Really do appreciate all the support. Should be live again either tomorrow or Saturday, so make sure to tune in for those if you can, guys. Thanks again so much, and I'll catch everyone in the next one.